Ngayon, may bagong nadiskubre si Congressman Ungab. Mainit at lumaragsa ang issue tungkol sa flood control. At nadiskubre ni Congressman Ungab ang isang paraan kung paano nangyayaring walang major projects tungkol dito. Medyo mahalaga yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw na ito kung kaya't medyo itutuloy-tuloy po muna namin ang presentasyon pagkatapos tatanggapin namin ang inyong mga katanungan. Para dun sa mga nanonood sa atin sa TikTok, pag na-meet natin ang gift goals, mag-i-extend tayo at we will allow people to come up and discuss with us dito sa last na pangyayari. So, the last time, itong si Congressman Ungab napakasipag at siya po ang siguro tinaguri ang pinakadalubhasa na pagdating dito sa pagbabudget o sa appropriations sa House of Representatives. Matagal na po siyang representante at kadalasan po, noong panahon ni Presidente Rodrigo Duterte, siya po ay nandyan sa Committee on Appropriations. Obviously ngayon, hindi na po siya kasama dyan. Ang dating pinuno ng Committee on Appropriations ay walang iba kundi ang kontrobersyal na kongresista, si Saldico, at ang kanyang deputy or co-chair was ang dating kongresista din na si Stella Kimbo. Ngayon po, ay ang pinuno niya ay si Isabela Representative. Oops, nakalimutan ko yung name niya. It will come back to me. So maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga bagong dating. I'm seeing your greetings and magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Pagpatuloy natin. Si Congressman Ungab ay huli rin ang isa sa nagsiwalat ng mga blanco sa BICAM report. At nung siya po ay naglabas nito, ay co-host niya doon sa Basta Dabawenyo, walang iba kundi ang dati nating Pangulo, si Rodrigo Duterte. Okay. Medyo mahina ang boses natin, ipagpaumanhin niyo po muna dahil ngayon lang po ako medyo nakabawid 2 araw na pong may sakit. Ngunit napakahalaga po nitong kailangan nating i-discuss kung kaya't, napipilitan talaga tayo mag-live ngayon. Ngayon, Congressman Swansing, maraming salamat po kay Mr. Jose Albania. Alright, Congresswoman Swansing po ang ngayong pinuno ng appropriations. Kanina, matapos isiwalat ni Congressman Ungab ang tungkol sa mga blanco sa BICAM, isiniwalat din naman niya kamakailan ang tungkol naman doon sa automatic appropriations, doon sa mga special funds na diretsong tumatanggap ng mga buwis. Halimbawa, PhilHealth, na naka-allocate sa kanila ang buwis ng ang sugar tax and other health issues, no, tungkol dun sa ang sin taxes at lalong-lalo na yung dun sa sugar taxation, sa pagtatax ng mga sweetened drinks. Okay. Sabi niya, napakialaman daw nitong 2025 yung tungkol sa automatic allocation. Sabi niya ngayon lang daw siya nakakita na pinakialaman yung automatic appropriations at dinagdagan ang pupunta sa Kongreso. All of these funds must go straight to the appropriated agency, katulad ng PhilHealth. Ang NCCA, halimbawa, ito ay nakakatanggap ng 10% ng travel tax for culture and arts related projects. Automatic ang allocation nito kung kaya't hindi pwedeng lagyan ng kaakibat na appropriations. Dapat ito ay diretso lang doon sa mga ahensyang itinutukoy. Ngayon, may bagong nadiskubre si Congressman Ungab. Mainit at lumaragsa ang issue tungkol sa flood control. At nadiskubre ni Congressman Ungab ang isang paraan kung paano nangyayaring walang major projects tungkol dito. Kung matatandaan natin, during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee na pinamunuan ni ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta, isiniwalat mismo ni Senator Marcoleta ang tungkol sa river basin projects. Ayon sa kanya, ang flood control ay mayroong mga recommendations, mayroong national plan para dito at ang namumuno niyan ay doon sa river basins na ahensya. Sabi niya, mayroong plano pero tila hindi napupondohan o hindi nakakatanggap ng mga proyekto tungkol doon. Nang tanungin ang DPWH, ang sagot ni then Secretary Bonoan, sumusunod lang daw sila sa GAA. Kapag nakalagay sa GAA ang mga proyekto, maging flood control yan o gusali, lalong-lalo na yung mga ipinasok sa distrito ng kongresista, wala naman silang choice kung hindi sumunod. Alam na. Ngunit ayon kay Congressman Ungab, mayroon pa. So hindi lang po dyan, hindi napopondohan yung mga proyekto para sa mga river basins, kundi mayroon ngang mga kanya-kanyang proyekto ang mga congressman. Sabi ni Kong Ungab, it's a little worse than that. Okay. Tingnan natin ang mga na-discuss niya kanina para ma-level natin kung ano ang napag-usapan or ano ang naisiwalat niya. We had later communications with him at nakita natin kung paano talaga or kung ano ang hinihinala niyang source ng iba pang flood control projects ng bawat kongresista. Okay? Pakinggan po natin muna itong sa Kongreso kanina.
I have a question to DPWH. Perhaps Secretary Vince could delegate this to one of his deputies, considering that bago pa siya nakaupo. My question is this. What happened, anong nangyari sa big ticket, high impact flood control projects that were funded by ODA? They were lodged under the Foreign Assisted Projects or FAPS. I think this was presented in the 2024 budget and 2025 budget. Can you give me an explanation or clarification on that? Kasi malalaki to. I understand that the foreign creditors here are JICA, Asian Development Bank, World Bank, IBRD, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Korea Economic Cooperation Development Fund, and the government of China. Pag na-approve na kasi yan, yung mahaba yung proseso, very very technical. Kompleto yan, feasibility study, everything. Pumasa na ito sa DBCC, pumasa na sa Monetary Board, at saka meron ng sovereign guarantee. Anong nangyari? Please clarify, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Sid Ungab, if I may just ask Undersecretary Emil Sidain, who is in charge of our foreign assisted projects, to respond.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Your Honors. Relative to the ODA or foreign funded projects, which are actually the high impact projects, this has been actually implemented, Madam Chair, Your Honors, in most of our yearly implementations since the past administrations until now. But it goes through the process of approval from the NEDA, previously with NEDA, passing through the ICC Technical Board. Then once it goes up to ICC Cabinet Committee, all the way to the NEDA Board. And until now, Mr. Chair, all these flagship projects goes to the proper vetting of all the line agencies for review. With regards to flood control, most of these projects, especially the big ticket projects, goes also to the detailed master plan and feasibility studies before this can be submitted to the NEDA or the DepDep for proper review. And with this, Mr. Chair, once it goes through the approval, the lending institution, if this is actually with JICA, World Bank, ADB, or Korean Exim Bank, the appraisal mission has to come to the Philippines for a more rigid evaluations of the same.
Okay, dito nakikinig tayo sa isang undersecretary ng DPWH at ini-explain niya kung saan dumadaan muna itong mga official development assistance funds or also known as foreign assisted projects. Under siya sa foreign assisted projects. Ini-explain niya yung mga kailangan daanan, Monetary Board, NEDA, ganyan. Yung mga iba't ibang ahensya na magve-vet ng proyekto na ito, ang mga projects na ito, at kung sila ay maaaring tumanggap nitong foreign assistance or grants. So ang foreign assistance ang grants usually tinatawag na grants, but actually they can be soft loans or they can be an out-and-out donation. Pero pag sinabing assistance, these are also soft loans. Nag-iiba lang sila doon sa paano yung mga terms ng pagbabayad sa kanila. So ina-explain dito yung rigid evaluations nga na dinadaanan ng mga foreign assisted projects. Particular na dito sa mga proyektong pinag-uusapan dito, which are big ticket projects related to mitigation of climate change at related din sa punteriya nito rin ay flood control. Okay, tuloy natin.
So, napakasinsinan po ang review. But isang importante po dito that we have to recognize, the NEDA ICC has to evaluate the projects on a threshold that all projects that should be funded through foreign should go a threshold passing the 10% economic internal rate of return. Meaning if the IR is low, there could be no ROI or impact to the government and to the public. So isa po yun din na tinitignan po ng ating mahal na Pangulo once it reaches the EDC, the Executive Development Council, all these projects can really give a high boost to the economic development of the country. Now, Mr. Chair, with regards to the funding, we got actually funds as early as 2022, 23, a very minimal budget compared to the NEP that was actually foreseen for release. Bumaba pa po siya doon sa expected. And what is more worse, last year, 2024, we received a zero budget from the GAA.
Okay.
May dumating naman po ito, pero these are actually more on the unprogrammed budget.
Okay, pinakinggan niyo yon. So, mayroon daw silang natanggap. So, may pera. Pero ang nirelease through the GAA noong 2024, zero. Meron daw silang natanggap pa rin tungkol dun sa flood control, pero ito ay mga nanggaling, di umano, sa unprogrammed budget. So, hindi doon sa ODA o sa Official Development Assistance or dun sa Foreign Assisted Projects na pondo. Hindi ito yung mga nanggaling sa foreign creditors. Pag-uusapan natin yan mamaya. So, ituloy natin.
So meaning, wala po siya sa priority as to budgeting and the unprogrammed normally comes out on the third and fourth quarter.
Okay. So, ang sinasabi niya dito is hindi naging priority yung flood control at kung inilagay ito doon sa unprogrammed funds, ang release niyan is third or fourth quarter. Yan na ang kasagsagan ng baha.
So the effect for the insufficiency of funds or the lack of funds from the program line items of these flagship projects can eventually result into a slowdown of implementation, the suspension or delay also on the procurement kasi wala po katayong CAF or the Certificate of Ability of Funds, so you cannot proceed with the bidding. And more worse, it can also generate a commitment fee because all loans are given a prescribed timeline, and this timeline, inclusive of the funding and as well as the component by project implementation, should be properly approved and implemented by the line agency, which is DPWS. So kung bitin po yung pondo, we always drag it to a more delay, more timelines that are necessary to complete the whole projects.
Okay. Ang sinasabi niya is kung ito ay hindi ma-implement, pagka nag-agree tayo dito sa mga proyekto na ito, may commitment fee yan. Nagbabayad tayo, hindi pa yan nare-release ang pera. Ngayon, kung may counterpart funds, kailangan pinapakita na natin or ini-implement na natin ang proyekto even before the release of the money. Or, in this case, posibleng na-release na yung pera pero hindi siya nagamit dun sa ikinauukulan na account and therefore could possibly lead to a suspension of future payments and in a strike on our credit standing.
So, yun po ang problema namin. That's why in the next year budget, we would like to get the most exact NEP has actually been proposed in the DPWH for 2026 po. Thank you po.
Ibig sabihin, hindi nila nakuha yung nasa National Expenditure Program for 2024 and for 2025 at mayroon tayong graphic for that later on.
Ito, may approved loan na sa mga foreign creditors.
Approved na yung loan, sabi ni
GAA 2020.
Okay, ganito ang lumabas
You
dito.
know what
Forward
happened?
ko lang ha.
Kasi nandito yung Metro Manila flood.
Ang sinabi dito ni Kong Ungab at may graphic tayo, in 2024, lumabas sa NEP yung 21 billion na supposedly from the ODA or FAP, Foreign Assisted Project. Sa first version ng General Appropriations Bill, andun pa siya. Pero dun sa final version at dun sa GAA, zero na po ang proyekto na ito. Bakit siya na zero? Hindi pa maliwanag para kay Kong. Ganon din nangyari sa 2025 pero medyo mitigated ng konti. Ayon sa kanya, dito sa sa 2024, sa Kongreso pa lang, zero na po itong portion na ito ng national budget. So doon sa 2025, Lumabas naman, this time 27 billion for the foreign assisted projects. So first version ng bill, mayroong konti, 16 billion pero may bawas na. Pagdating yan yung sa sa House version. Pagdating ng after the Senate, ang Senado daw nagbalik ng 300 million. Pero doon sa final version sa GAA, 9 billion na lang ang mga para dito sa mga proyektong ito. So ayun. So yun yung isiniwalat ni Kong Ungab kanina. Okay. So para makita ninyo, ito yung may slide presentation tayo. Para mas maliwanag lang, makikita nyo exactly kung anong programs or projects. Okay. So ODA, mayroong tinatawag na Official Development Assistance Programs for flood control. For 2024 and 2025. In 2024, 21.6 billion. In 2025, 27.5 billion naka-allocate across 11 projects. Ang mga projects na ito, 6 ang nakita ni Kong Ungab. They are Metro Manila Flood Management Project, High Impact Initiative to Reduce Flood Risks sa NCR. 21.6 billion in 2020. Ito na po. Pasig Marikina Channel Improvement. Mali po yung ko. So sa Metro Manila, sorry, mali yung aking visual. Sa Metro Manila, 6 billion in 2024 and 6.8 billion in 2025. Sa Pasig Marikina Channel Improvement Project, 6.6 billion in 2024 din and 7.4 billion sa 2025. Sa Cavite Industrial Area Risk Management Project, 1.7 billion in 2024 and 5.9 billion in 2025. Sa Mindanao, sa Cagayan de Oro, Flood Risk Management Project for Cagayan de Oro River Protection of Urban and Riverine Communities, 3.6 billion in 2024, 1.2 billion in 2025. Integrated Flood Resilience and Adaptation Project encompassing the Abra River Basin, Agus River Basin, and Tagum Libuganon River Basin. So that's Lanao del Norte and Tagum, which is in Davao del Norte. 420 million pesos in 2024 and 3.1 billion pesos in 2025. These projects have been vetted, as those explained earlier, with expert assistance to ensure viability, effectivity, and necessity in addressing flood management needs in these areas. Hindi lang po yun. Ito po ay for climate change mitigation. Okay. Sino ang mga foreign creditors dito? JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency, ADB, Asian Development Bank, World Bank, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, Korea Economic Development Cooperation Fund, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, and the Government of China. Uy, matitrigger na naman yung iba dyan. Okay. So, ito ang nangyari noong 2024. Government of the Philippines counterpart. Ito yung counterpart natin, tapos may loan proceeds dyan. 21 billion, so yan, nakabaklas na siya. GOP counterpart, 15 billion. Loan proceeds, 6 billion. Total foreign assisted project summary, 21 billion, 628 million, 636 ang naka-allocate for 2024. Ang lumabas sa GAB, 16 billion. May GOP counterpart 14 billion, loan proceeds 1 billion. Anong nangyari? 0 sa GAA. Okay. So ang lalaki ng decrease. Isipin mo, from 21 billion, 0. Si 2025, medyo nahiya ng konti, 27.5 billion ang naka-allocate, 13 billion from loan proceeds, GOP counterpart 14 billion. Ang loan proceeds na 0 sa General Appropriations Bill version 3. Okay. That's both the Senate and the House na. So sa GAA, medyo nahiya daw ang Senate, nagsole, pero ang lumabas after the BICAM is total of 9 billion na lang. After the instead of 27.5 billion, 9 billion na lang. So both yung counterpart na nilaan natin and the loan proceeds ay na-diminish by 67% in 2025. Okay? Yan po. That's where flood control went. So bakit siya mahalaga? Kasi ang daming, 'di ba, isang malaking katanungan dito sa sa flood control, nasaan yung mga big ticket projects? Okay? Bakit? Yun ang tinatanong. Nasaan ang mga big ticket projects? Flood control was treated in the past few years as a maintenance cost. Hindi siya officially nakalagay doon, but it was ina-allocate siya yearly sa mga distrito. Ang tinanong ngayon ni Congressman Ungab, kung nag-disappear yan, where did it go? Napansin niya na sa bawat distrito, may mga nag-increase na flood control projects sa mga distrito. Sabi niya, notably, there were actual increases in flood control project allocations per district in the final GAA. In effect, the larger ODA or FAP-funded flood control projects were divided into smaller projects which were then distributed among selected districts. Sa madaling sabi, chinap-chap nila ang ODA. Okay? Nag-increase din ang budget under the central office, DPWH po ito, for construction, maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage systems, 37.4 billion in 2024 and 15.3 billion in 2025. So for construction and rehabilitation of maintenance facilities and major river basins and principal rivers in 2024, 13.1 billion at 1.6 billion noong 2025. Yan po ay inallocate. Mas malaki from the previous years. Okay? So, although these projects ay dinaan daw sa central office, na distribute siya sa iba't ibang mga congressional districts nationwide. So, ang bulk ng pinakabagong funding was funneled to hundreds of smaller district engineer offices or district engineering offices led na flood control projects. Are you starting to see the picture? Covering practically all political districts, NCR and regions 1 to 13, with modest project sizes often lacking full feasibility studies or multilateral donor oversight. The preference for small DEO projects and fragments of DPWH's national flood control strategy undermining the big ticket investments intended to address systemic urban flood risks. Bukod pa dyan, sinasabi niya, pag maliliit yung mga proyekto, kulang ang technical appraisals at hindi na-optimize ang river basin or urban floodplain interventions. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Hindi efficient ang maliliit na proyekto. They do not address the system. It is not a national flood control project. It is not a big ticket project addressing an entire region. Instead, what it does is chops the whole amount para, well, I hesitate to use the term, kumita ang ang bawat distrito. Take note, covering almost all of the districts, or rather all of the districts, all of the political districts. And these are DEO-led flood control projects, meaning sino ang nagsuggest at nagsulong nito? Ang mga district engineers. Okay? Smaller flood control projects that are divided by districts cannot optimize the interventions, but the high, big ticket, major projects are intended to show, diba, that you're trying to get to the root, you're getting to the root of the problem. Now, here is the other major issue. Committed na tayo sa mga utang na ito. Nagbayad na tayo ng commitment fee, nag-release na ang mga ahensya doon sa national. Pero, and it appeared, nakita yan, lumitaw yung mga yan sa NEP. However, after the NEP, in 2024, naging zero, nag-disappear. After the NEP, in 2025, na menos ng 67% ang total na nakalaan dyan. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang districts rin sa DPWH are aligned towards political patronage. Okay. So, muli, ulitin natin. Mayroon tayong mga international commitments on these foreign assisted projects or official development assistance. natanggap na natin yan. At since most of them are loans, mayroon tayong tinatawag na sovereign guarantee. What is a sovereign guarantee? It means that no matter what, Philippine government will pay for it. Okay? Kahit sabihin mo pa yan that these were entered into with malicious intent or anything like that, ang even if it is an agency lang that entered into it, even if it was a different administration, babayaran yan ng Pilipinas. So, these loans, even if they are soft loans, were regularly entered into, not regular. It means that they were entered into officially for a purpose that was to serve the public interest, to mitigate climate change, and to solve or make at least diminish the major problems on flooding, particularly in urban areas where people suffer the most. However, apparently, mas naisip ng mga legislators natin to chop them up and still call them flood control projects into smaller projects that are not only inefficient, but also did not target the problem and put us in danger of reneging on the conditions of our soft loans. Kumbaga, dahil dito, posibleng matamaan ang credit standing natin, posibleng matamaan din yung agreement sa mga loans na ito, and we could pay fines or penalties for not complying with these agreements. Yan po ang sinasabi both ng DPWH at ni Congressman Ungab. Okay? This is just one. So, kumbaga, ano yung mga na-discover na pangatlo na to kay Kong Ungab? Blanco na BICAM report, yung sa automatic allocations, and now flood control. Siguro, in the bigger picture, we also have to remember, ano ba ang nangyari in 2024? Namigay ang Kongreso ng 700 to 800 billion pesos in ayuda. And ano yung sinabi natin? This is ayuda, meaning it is a handout. Anong ibig sabihin ng handout? It means no services are rendered, no infrastructure is going to be built. There will be no additions to the labor force of government. And in fact, we had to diminish a lot of not just the regular services, but what the output of government itself. Pinakanatamaan, healthcare. Sa dinami-dami, and wait, there's more. Naglaan din ng 250 billion ng ayuda in 2025. Habang pinaglilitis pa ang validity ng 2025 budget at yung healthcare stemming from 2024, healthcare issues from 2024, such as yung pag-turnover ng almost 90 billion na excess funding ang PhilHealth. This was also happening. Meaning, habang mas marami pang nadidiskubre si Congressman Ungab, mas nakikita natin that this is a massive plunder of the Philippine Treasury. This is a massive plunder of taxpayers' hard-earned money. Kapag but remember, when you're looking at a budget, hindi pa pumapasok dyan ang mga kontratista. This plunder happened in the budgeting process. Okay? This puts the blame solely on the legislature. Ngayon kanina nagre-react ang isang kongresista at sinasabi niya, why are we discussing the budget when what we have intended all this time is to return it to the NEP, return it to the DBM. Sabi. What are we talking about? Sabi ni, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, the congressman from Cagayan de Oro. I think it was Rufus Rodriguez who was saying, anong pinag-uusapan natin dito? Hindi ba sinusoli na natin ang budget sa NEP? Ang akusasyon ng Kongreso, kayo, DBM, ang nagsisingit dyan sa NEP. So, bakit naghihiring sila sa appropriations kanina? Could it be possible din na umiiwas sila dito sa pagsisiyasat? Baka makita yung mga ganitong klaseng entries na nagsasabi na doon sa appropriation, sa budgeting process, nangyari yung disappearance ng Foreign Assisted Program Funds or ng ODA. So, ngayon, tanggapin na natin ang inyong mga katanungan. So, okay. Sabi ni Miss Patty, Filipinos are angry, but it seems people are still holding back despite some groups now taking to the streets to express disgust. What would it take to sway the masses to go out once and for all? Well, hindi pa siguro ito laganap ngayong araw na ito. And rallies shouldn't stop at a single one. Tandaan po natin, in 1986, may culminating activity. Pero bago nangyari yung EDSA, maraming mga rally muna ang nangyari. 3 taon matapos na mamatay si Ninoy Aquino, sunod-sunod ang rallies. So it's not, if it happens, I don't think it will happen overnight. Although there must now be a sense of urgency because I have never seen this kind of budget before. Sabi ni Sir Bench, inutang na nga lang, kinurakot pa nga ng mga ulang hiha. Tandaan po ninyo, bakit I took pains to explain what a sovereign guarantee is. In the Marcos senior years, ganun po ang nangyari. Umutang ng umutang ang Philippine government. Hindi necessarily nagkaroon ng mga proyekto dyan. Pero dahil sovereign guarantee ang ginamit nila, we paid for those loans. Regardless of whether or not nagdulot sila ng mga proyekto. And it is happening again in the Marcos Jr. years. Sabi ni Iko, busy mga kakamping, sa kaloyalista, sa kakakonek sa mga Duterte. Hindi yan magrarally kung di si Duterte ang target. And take note, 2022 po nag-umpisa ang mga ODA na ito. Hi kay Chang, kay Ace ng Pumuseno, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Kay Larry Hilario, kay Ma'am Eada, kay Dailub. Sa lahat po ng nagpadala ng gifts sa kay GPA 2024, kay Tears of the sino ba yan? Meron palang sabi ni Tears of the Sun, wala yan, doon ka muna sa 2016 to 2022, ano ka ba naman? Sige, bakit kami? Bakit hindi ikaw ang magpako? Ikaw ay napaka-confident sa problema ng mga Duterte years, bakit kami yung pinapa-research mo? As far as we can see, walang ganon. Binlacklist nga si Diskaya nung panahon na yon. At kailan po siya na ano po ang sinasabi ninyong mga flood control projects na maanomalya? Hindi nyo nga ma-pinpoint. Ang gusto nyo lang i-pinpoint mga Duterte. Pero eto, in black and white, using only the GAA and the GAB and the foreign assistance documents, maliwanag na from 2022 up to the present, hindi natin nasisiguro kung saan nagpupunta ang mga ODA at FAP natin. Naku, magtotrol ka na rin lang, napakahina ninyo. Wala kayong maipresenta, mga numero, mga proyekto, weak talaga kayo, para kayong amo nyo. Hi kay Borjak, maraming salamat kay Borjak, kay Miko, thank you very much po, kay Aki Loki, kay Johnny Malate, kay Ma'am Eeda, kay Pompoko, kay Hershey, kay Ian Paul, kay Lovely Niez, thank you very much po. Uy, dami. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Lovely, ha? At meron pa. Kay Ma'am Tess, kay Chad, kay Ma'am Raquel, kay Eileen, kay Ma'am Eada, kay Bertie, at kay Jeng de Dios. Kay Maria Celosa, maraming salamat po. Kay Kazam, at saka kay Marlon. Okay, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you Chinoy, tama ba ang pag-pronounce ko? Sabi niya, God save the Philippines. Sabi ni Realme, ang mas nakakagigil yung alam mong mastermind sa korupsyon, nagiging whistleblower pa bigla at pinupuri pa mga taga-media, lumabas siya ang hero. Of course not. Are you talking about the president? The fact is, he was targeting the congressmen talaga dahil ang feeling niya, itong mga to ang nakasira sa kanyang administrasyon. Not that that's true because parang feeling ko, it was both the executive and the legislature. Kaya nga nagtuturoan sila ngayon, sabi ng mga kongresista, NEP, sa NEP siningit, sabi naman ng DBM, matapos namin gawin ng NEP, kayo na. So turuan system sila ngayon. At the same time, ito ba ay mangyayari kung napakalakas at maganda ang leadership ng Pangulo? Excuse me, he doesn't look like a hero. Kayo lang ang nagsasabi nun. Paano siya naging hero? Pupunta siya sa isang lugar, magtuturo siya ng empty lot at sasabihin, ayan, ghost project. Sa kakaturo niya ng ganyan, yung ibang mga kontratista at ay nakapagtago na ng mga property nila, tapos yung ilang mga kongresista wala na sa bansa. Sabi ni Magike, dumidistansya na si FL kay Diskaya. Sabi ni Marx, may magagawa ba judicial system natin? Yes, but as in any system, kailangan mag-file ng kaso. So, ifa-file yan muna sa ombudsman. Kaya nga, hindi po coincidence na may mga gusto na maupo si Secretary Boying Remulla, lalong-lalo na yung mga nakatira sa Malacanang ngayon, para pwede silang magturo, yan, i-prosecute. Pero wag niyong i-prosecute yung sa amin. Magiging selective or posibleng maging selective. Sabi ni Ma'am Victoria, parang jellyfish yung leadership ni BBM. Sabi ni Salonga, the bottom line of this problem is the galaxy's form of corruption in PBBM government, particularly flood control project scandals, which apparently executive and legislative. Yep. Sabi ni Dan, drama si BBM. Sabi ni Rayu, permissive leadership, no rules, but yes to love the People's Alliance. Sabi ni Father, paano kung inoferan ka ni BBM bilang pamalit kay Claire, papayag ka ba? No, tapos tatawanan ko pa siya. Why would you join a government that not only is this weak, but is this corrupt? Diyos ko, kahit wala kang gawin, magmumukha kang corrupt, ba't ka sasali sa ganyan? No. Hindi po pwede, sabi ni Bong, pwede ba na mismong Supreme Court ang magpatawag ng investigasyon, magkaso sa mga politiko na corrupt bukod sa ombudsman? Hindi po pwede. Ang ombudsman po, yan ang mag-a-act bilang prosecutor. Kaya pwede silang mag-imbestiga. Pero hindi pwedeng manawagan ng Supreme Court because the moment they do that, hindi na po sila objective. Maliwanag ang saligang batas. Ano ang trabaho ng Korte Suprema? Ano ang trabaho ng Hudikatura? Mag-decide ng mga kaso. At kailangan mag-decide sila with objectivity. Hindi sila pwedeng makisali at hindi sila pwedeng umepal. Pag ginawa nila yon, wala nang babalanse. Ano po yung mga possible challenges sa Congress ngayon about sa lowering the age of presidential post-amendment, especially nahaharap po sila sa very scandalous corruption issues? Napag-usapan po namin yan kahapon, and normally I would not have taken this if I had read it in full at this, nagre-request ako na kung pwede, let's stay in point. Pero sige, ano ko dito? I do not expect Congress to be fair about this. I am fully expecting that whatever amendments they will propose to the Constitution will be self-serving. So no to charter change, especially not at this time when the people we have put in power inadvertently cannot even be trusted in the regular course of their jobs. Sabi ni Benji, so we know all these inappropriate illegal things. Do we now mobilize or at least posture to congregate? Who will start and who will catalyze? We need to act as early as now. I'm willing to, to act and follow. Sir, ang kulang natin leaders. We can't have, pag sinasabi, Kung mag-organize na kayo, nagtuturo kayo eh. Why can't you organize? That is my point. I think that as long as we are relying on other people to organize, then it's not gonna happen. Sasabihin mo, I'm willing to follow but not to lead. Then we will always forever be looking for leaders. Who is going to step up? Sabi ni Sunny, Sunitibet, ayun, sabi ni San, si BBM ang nagyabang na mayroon siyang 5,500 flood control projects na natapos na, tapos na fact check lang siya ng kalikasan. Ngayon magtuturo siya na past administration yung mga ghost projects, Mariosep. Sabi ni Ulan, may possibility bang maupo? Bakit obsessed kayo? Sir, ma'ams, okay, let's get this out of the way. Pinag-uusapan natin dito flood control. Pero sige, gusto ninyong isingit yung kay Boying, kay Sec Boying. Fine, wala pa po tayong balita. Ulitin ko po, wala pa pong balita and therefore wala pa po siyang clearance. Ulitin ko, one more time for good measure. Wala pa pong balita and therefore that means wala pa po siyang clearance. However, continuing pa rin po ang mga interviews ng Judicial and Bar Council, matatapos siya September 15. If he comes up with his clearance by then may chance na makapasok pa rin siya, ma-appoint siya. Until such a time as ma-issue ang clearance, he is not cleared. Until such a time, he is not qualified. So, no news is good news. Okay? Huwag po tayong masyadong nagungulit dun sa issue kasi as long as hindi siya nakakatanggap ng clearance, he will not be appointed. Thank you kay, sino to? Paul, maraming salamat po. Sabi ni Watchers, di nyo napansin ang dami nilang ginagawang batas pero lahat ay para patahimikin ang tao. Posible, oo. Kasi isa pa yan, yung maghi-hearings pa daw sila on fake news. Ano ba ang fake? Hindi nila dinidefine. Thank you kay Sir Paul at saka kay Rodrigo. Sabi ni Sprikitik, PBBM, tinira niya ang House of Congress kasi alam niya kung sino-sino karap. Pag sira si PBBM, si Speaker. Ano yun? Okay, ang tingin ko dyan is that he blames them para dun sa sa kanyang low ratings. So, para magmukhang may ginagawa siya, titirahin niya Kongreso. At any rate, pagbibigyan naman siya ng pinsan niya. Dahil pinsan niya yun. Sabi ni Michael, paano po mapapalitan si PBBM ni VP Sara? Mahahabol po ba yung mga ninakaw at maibabalik ba nila yung question mark? O need pa idaan yan sa court, which is aabutin ng taon ang desisyon para ibalik. Okay, isa-isayin natin. Paano mapapalitan si BBM ni VP Sara? Well, if he does not, ganito, if the president is no longer capable of dispensing his functions, hindi na niya kakayanin maging presidente, incompetent siya, may sakit siya, or for whatever reason na hindi niya magagampanan yung duties niya, maaari na siyang mag-step down at by right of succession, ang vice president ang magte-take over. Anong isang paraan para tayo yung mag-ensure na bababayan? Well, number one, of course, and the only way is by impeachment. The other is the ERAP solution or the ERAP solution, diba? Or the the ERAP solution. Kasi Vice President si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo nung nag-step out of Malacanang si President ERAP, he did not intend to leave his office, but the Supreme Court interpreted it as him no longer being capable or of having given up his position. So, yun po yun. Paano mababalik yung pera? Need ba idaan sa court? Yes po. There is no other way to do it. Dahil sabi ng saligang batas, no person may be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Kung hindi tayo susunod sa saligang batas, anong karapatan natin na paalisin ng presidente dahil lumalabag siya sa saligang batas? We demand obedience to the laws, we will have to comply with them. Di ba? Sa saligang batas. Sabi ni Ulan, yung incompetent, pasok. Not functioning, pasok pa rin. I'm sorry. It's really funny. Thank you kay Pompoko, kay Rodrigo Manzano. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Kay Paul, at kay Sir Rodrigo uli. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Wow. Thank you very much.